Hello everybody, this is Ethan with WiseCrack Studios, and today I wanted to go over a cool little trick that I used on my last little cover video. If you haven't seen that yet, go ahead and check it out. It's the song Will You Love Me Tomorrow by Carloe King. But what I wanted to talk about today was a trick that I used for the bass guitar in the song. In order to help smooth things out, I went ahead and messed around a little bit. So I recorded the song with both an amplifier and a DI, and when I was going through, I went ahead and I actually tripled the DI signal. And in doing that, I actually was able to set up a couple of little individual tracks for myself. The first one is obviously just the low end. I put on a little EQ that's cutting off anything above 150. Very, very gentle slope there. I didn't need it to be too harsh. And then I've got another one that's doing pretty much the same thing the other way. And so I was able to separate the high and low end just a little bit for that. And then on both of them, I went ahead and threw on a compressor that was doing a light little bit of compression on it. And then I was throwing on another one that was being a full limiter on the entire thing. And then I made sure to do the same thing to the other track as well. And for this third track, I went ahead and did the same compression, but before that, I saturated the ever-living heck out of it. Now with these original two DI high and lows, the main thing was just trying to get like a good little balance, and then this extra, I called it a crunch, but it's a nice little oversaturated track that just helps to add a little bit of extra, it just helps to add a little extra oomph to everything. And then after all of that, I went ahead and kept on the original amp sound just to help round everything out, help to smooth things over a little bit better. Now, why did I do all of this? It was all for one very specific reason, and that was to smooth out the bass guitar. In this song, I didn't need a very dynamic bass guitar part. I just needed something smooth that would stay as a nice little floor underneath everything else. Anything else that I needed to do, I went ahead and came down to the bus here and did a little bit of automation. Now, especially as you can see right in this area right here, I went ahead and raised up the volume there. That was because that section in particular had just that little bit of extra something that I just wanted to come through. And then from there, all that I did was raise or lower the volume of the entire thing in this track, just to sort of make sure that the bass guitar stayed as a nice little floor for everything without actually getting lost. This is a trick that you really need to be careful with, because by adding in all of this compression, you're just limiting the actual volume that the entire thing is putting out. And especially if you're not careful with it, it's just going to sound like one big wall of sound in a frequency area where you don't want it to be a big wall of sound. That tends to sort of cancel itself out, create a lot of extra little distortion, and just phase issues in general that you don't want to be messing with. So this was a neat little idea that I played with. I don't know how often I would use something like this, but hopefully I've just given you something to play around with in the future. And as for me, this has been Ethan with WiseCrack Studios, and I hope that you have a lovely day.